Good morning, disc golf fans. It is the morning before the Great Reset here at the 2023 Disc Golf Pro Tour Championships presented by Barbasol. We're here in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Matt Keats Memorial Disc Golf Course at Nevin Park, and I'm joined here by Nate Perkins, Tournament Central Time. Nate, let's preview some of the action. We have quite a few players on this cut line. Again, it's the top 8 players from today moving on to the final 2 rounds. Scores reset, and they play just a sprint of a 2-round stroke play event with a completely even slate. What do you think about this?
I mean, it's incredible that it's all come down to this, Brian. Just 2 cards advancing for a shot at 40K. So the current scores, they include those starting strokes. So don't forget that when you're looking at those rounds. That's not necessarily what our players shot yesterday. And the one thing about today is while Kristin's, she's 6 in front of that perceived cut line. We think it's going to be somewhere around even, maybe 1 or 2 over. She's not necessarily safe. No one is safe. And there's only a few people that I can confidently say are out of it. Mm-hmm. So it's anyone's game still. And it's do or die time. Like, there's nothing to lose. Like, you get paid for being here, mm-hmm. and if you don't make it, you don't have a shot at 40K. So people are putting everything on the line today, and I think almost everybody could go one way or the other today, and that's just a rare thing for disc golf. I mean, when we play a normal stroke play tournament, we don't have someone that's in 20th doesn't have the opportunity to still win, but because we have that great reset, Brian, they could. Someone that's 4 over today could qualify, get reset, and then have good rounds Saturday and Sunday and be the tour champion and kind of change their life. So
well, and that's why we give the top competitors throughout the entire season just a few strokes of an advantage. I mean, I think it's perfect. Kristin getting 5 strokes here at Nevin, yes, gives you the comfort of knowing that you're probably, if you shoot okay, going to move on to the finals, which if you won, this many events that she won this year, you should be in the finals. Mm-hmm. But she still has to earn it. Like you said, every single one of these holes can be bogeyed, doubled, or tripled with a matter of hitting a first available tree and kicking onto a bad side of the fairway. I mean, we could see Kristin Tattar go well over par today. We don't truly know, and because of that, it's going to be an exciting day. A lot of players gunning for this top 8 spot. We have quite a few that are right on the bubble. Currently, even par is that 8th place spot. Let's talk about Macy Velde right now. 1 under par. Nate, solid player, knows how to play in the woods, has great power from both sides. What is she going to have to do out there?
Well, she racked up quite a few birdies yesterday, Brian. 3 birdies, 3 bogeys, but that's a pretty clean scorecard. I mean, even on the front 9, it's a good-looking putt there on 13. Nice forehand touch right there. That's the shot that's really going to help her scramble quite a bit, is just those little touch forehands. Can't really stress how important those are. I feel like there's not too many players, Brian, that are lacking that shot these days, those touch 150-footers.
Nate, the big thing for me is the 2 bogeys on 17, 18. They're tough holes, but they're out in the open. You have to hit 1 gap on 17, and a par is pretty simple. 18, you have to play pretty strategically if you want the 4, but you could easily get that and take a birdie on that hole. I mean, it's a placement gap shot, a placement shot to kind of challenge the tree line, up to the basket, birdie. A 5 is totally doable, so she could easily clean those numbers up, and it's a 2-stroke swing. She's shooting a 3 under par. So with that, easier said than done. Kat Murch is also in the mix right now as well, and she had a phenomenal start. At one point, I believe she was 4 or 5 under par, and kind of slowed down in the back 9, which is playing much tougher than the front is right now. Kat Murch said she's ready to take down Kristin Tattar. What do you think?
Yeah, we were on this TC set yesterday. She was warming up in the field next to us, and she looks over at us, cracks a joke, says, "Do you want the hot round interview now or later?" That's just the kind of attitude that we've been getting from Murch this season, and rightfully so. I mean, yeah, Brian, the 4 birdies in the first 5 holes, incredible start. But look how difficult the back is playing. I mean, a triple there on the 11th, and then a triple on the 17th, which played almost a full stroke over par. It was the hardest hole on the course during that opening round. And it's absolutely going to be one of the holes where players are going to have to go for it late in the round. Players are going to check UDisc. They're going to be 2 back of the cut line with people already finished, and they're going to have to hit that gap and then try and throw it onto the island. And same with 18 as well. It's par 5. Like, some of these players are going to have to fully send it. And there's no better setting than this right here, because everyone that's here live can all see this because these are the only holes that are out here in the open.
Well, that's what I think is interesting about 17-18. If you want the birdie, you have to hit the gap with power. But you very easily can club down to something way more controllable, or even just throw a standstill forehand and just get out into the open and play yourself for a pretty straightforward par. It's kind of tempting to do the other thing and play aggressive, but I think we'll see some players today look at the scores and try to do something much more conservative on those final holes as hard as they played. Haley King looked out of it. She was multiple strokes over par throughout the front 9. One of the better players this season overall. I mean, Haley King winning the MVP Open at Maple Hill, we thought she was going to be a shoo-in, but she gave us kind of a scare, but then cleaned it up on the back 9 and kind of found the fire. Nate, I think she should be shooting extremely well in this course. She lives just under 10 minutes away from here.
Yeah, and she's one of the few players that is potentially going to miss it starting off with those 2 strokes, and she lost them right away. I mean, 3 over through the first 4, Brian, but you're right, she did bounce back, and we just haven't seen Haley King give up in quite some time. I feel like we used to see that apathy set in a little earlier, but it just didn't there. I mean, this is down the stretch. This is a putt on 17. Cashes it high on the pole, gets her back to 2 over for the round, even overall. But man, that has to be so nervy sitting at even par.
She missed all 4 Circle 2 looks that she faced, which is rare because of the fact that she's one of the better Circle 2 putters out there. She did mention at Maple Hill that she's much more conservative now in Circle 2. She's kind of looking at the scores and what's necessary to win these tournaments, and she's realizing that laying up sometimes, actually a lot of the times, is going to save her strokes over the field who does run those putts and rolls into some nasty situations. The greens here at Nevin are terrible.
Yeah.
With that, another player that's in the mix, Jennifer Allen. Jennifer Allen actually was second in fairway hits, second in Circle 2 in regulation. She's throwing the disc fantastic right now. I believe she was 3rd in park jobs for birdie. Missed a few putts out there, but I think easily could shoot multiple strokes under par out here, especially being able to push the distance up the fairways as much as she can.
Yeah, I'm impressed by Chin's round. I mean, no double bogeys. Like, those single bogeys are going to come, but when she's rearing back on those drivers and those T-birds, like, and she misses the line, like, doubles, triples could come. So I'm kind of impressed by her even performance yesterday. And when she gets those T-birds online, Brian, I mean, you said it, she can get so far up the fairway that she brings birdie into play on some holes where other FPO players like aren't necessarily even attacking. She got a great birdie there on the par 5, number 6. And she got great birdie on 18. One of the few players in the field to get the birdie there, finishing 1 down on the last 3 holes, which are certainly playing the hardest.
Well, Nate, the fewest amount of bogeys on the card or on the field was Kristin Tattar, who had 3. So 3 single bogeys was the best of the entire field, just showing you how easy it is to take a bogey on this course. 5 is not too bad from Jennifer Allen. I think if she can hover right around that even par mark, grab a few birdies here and there, if she goes 2-3 under, I mean, she's well within the mix, making it to the next round. I want to ask you, though, what overall score do you think is going to make that 8th place spot? What do you think players are going to have to gun for today?
You know, typically the scores slightly increase during the second round of the tournament. I feel like day 1, the scores are the worst. Day 2, they're a little bit better. Day 3, they kind of average out between the 2. I feel like we're going to see the scores improve slightly. I think the cut line, if you're 1 down, you're going to have a better seed than someone to make it in. I think there's going to be a bunch up at 1 under par. I think if you're even, there's a slight chance you might be the first person out, Brian.
Well, Nate, someone who's going to have that advantage with the seeding is Ella Hansen, who's currently sitting a stroke out of the top 8. There were moments where we thought Ella was going to be a shoo-in, that she was going to have no problems with this course, and then later in the round it showed that she struggled a bit. I mean, what is she going to have to do out here to break into the top 8?
Yeah, she's going to have to keep it clean, Brian. That back nine really bit her. She played it 5 over par. I mean, she shot 2 under on the front nine with 2 bogeys. This is her opening hole, Brian. Hole 1. I mean, beautiful forehand. Just so fast out of the hand. Great putt. Here's the approach on the par 5. This is crossing the creek.
You know, Nate,
Skipped it across the creek.
I was
That's
gonna
incredible.
Say, I'm surprised at the players getting across the creek on this hole. I was playing it in practice, just kind of looking at the fairway shape. It's hard to access that gap, and players are getting smart and pushing that second and third shot on the right side of the fairway, and Ella was able to do that really well.
This is the downhill number 8.
Look at this.
Gets just enough flip up. Mind you, the FPO basket is up the hill a bit, so if you cross the creek, you're looking at a little chip shot, 150-footer for the bird.
I mean, Nate, backhand timing looks fantastic, especially with the slower discs out here. You wonder if she's going to change the strategy or if she's going to start clubbing up to some faster drivers to kind of get aggressive down these fairways. I think it's been interesting to see the 2 different schools of thought of how players attack this course. Slow disc, try to control all of your bad luck, or just throw caution to the wind and roll the dice. And I feel like both of them have played pretty well for a lot of different players. Final player I want to talk about, Jessica Weese, had another really solid start. It looked like she was going to be one gunning for that top spot, and then had a tough finishing stretch. I mean, she had the bogeys on 13 and 14, had I believe a triple bogey on 17. What is it with his back nine, Nate?
Oh, it's just that gap on 17, Brian. I mean, it's brutal. It's why it played almost a full stroke over par. It's because there isn't you can't play safe. Like, it's maybe a 12, 15-foot gap at the 80 feet down the fairway, and then there's the out of bounds. So you can't just like pitch it out to the right. Like, Weese is probably trying to fit the backhand in, and for most of the round she's throwing these super extreme flip up shots, but here you need a little bit of stability. Like, we saw a little bit of head left to right yesterday. This morning it's kind of calm, but you can't read the wind when you're up on that tee pad. And we saw yesterday Ohn and Kristin both out the gap, and then the wind just kind of bled their shot OB right. Then you have to make the decision, am I laying up short or am I going to go for that blind green? I mean, it's a phenomenally designed hole, and it's giving them a lot of trouble. Weese also kind of lost her putt on that back nine. I mean, she's kind of been struggling from deep in circle 1. So if she can get those like extreme flip up, I think she's still throwing the Vulcan on those like forehand flip up lines. Like, if she can get that dialed, and she needs some of those shallow circle 2 putts and those deep circle 1 putts to drop today to give her that chance.
Well, I'm interested to see how players adjust their strategy going up to 17. We might see some players leaning back into some comfort zone type shots, even if it might not be the optimal shape for the fairway. Whatever hits the gap the best might be the option for some of these players. With that said, we haven't even talked about our leaders yet in Kristin Tattar, Missy Ganon. We're going to talk about them on the other side of this commercial break.
Friendship isn't defined by time spent together,
but rather by moments shared.
Moments that are warm,
exciting,
and new. When you're outfitted for all that's out there.
Even the ordinary becomes extraordinary.
So here's to taking a moment to appreciate every moment, made outside together.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines that NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.
You can watch the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship and more live professional disc golf coverage on the Disc Golf Network. Use the code CHAMPTC at checkout for 20% off your first month subscription. Scan the QR code or hit the link in the description below to subscribe today and wrap up this 2023 disc golf season. And with that, I am now joined here by PDGA's Rebecca Duffy. Rebecca, you have been marshalling out here this week. You've been marshalling all season long for the ladies. Before we talk about this week, can we just reflect on this incredible 2023 season and kind of what you've witnessed so far?
Well, the PDGA has wrapped up their season, and we decided we wanted to support the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship. That's why we're here this week. We always like to support our partners. But we have had an incredible season. There has been highlights of, record-breaking numbers and record-breaking payouts. And, we had a couple of winners that decided to win 2 of our majors this year. So, it's been phenomenal, and it's so great to finally see the season wrap up, but I'm looking forward to the next one already.
Well, now we're here this week at the Tour Championship. You're marshalling. You're making sure all the players are playing by the rules and making good calls on each other. What have you witnessed about the players playing this really treacherous Nevin course?
Well, as you can see by the scores, there's been a lot of strong front nines. They get to that back nine, and some of them have a little bit of trouble, and they have to crowbar their way out of that score. And, it's just... This is not an easy course. We've been here in 2012, 2018, with a major, and I have marshaled both times at that, at Nevin, and this is way different. Nevin is cruel, and with that back nine and them trying to make those gaps and stay out of OB. It's tremendous, and it is a pressurized round today to make that cut, and then tomorrow we reset the scores and all starts over again.
Well, because of players like Kristin Tattar, the bar has risen. And Kristin, alongside many other women that have continued to raise the bar over the years, but most specifically, Kristin is in the lead right now. We heard from her after our round yesterday. Let's take a listen.
It's nice to have strokes, but in the woods anything can happen. So I can't say I felt comfortable, but it was nice having those strokes.
You had 3 bogeys on the day. That was actually the fewest of the entire field. So I guess pretty solid.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how you managed the course, how well you felt like you scored out there?
Like Missy said, you just have to minimize the mistakes. I feel like I got pretty well off the tee. And did not make any major mistakes. Just try to keep it simple, as simple as possible out there.
With how wooded this course is there much strategy you can implement throughout the week?
I can't say. You just have to hit the fairways, and that's all. I try to look how the fairway shape and decide if I go with the backhand or the forehand. And some of those gaps, I feel like I throw better with the forehand, just looking at the gap. So that's all the strategy I have.
Well, Nate, we said it earlier. Yes, there's a sense of comfort coming into this first 2-round phase of the event with 5 strokes, but 5 strokes over 2 rounds can be bled on 2 holes. What is Kristin going to have to do? She seemed to have a pretty clean scorecard. She was 1 off the hot round in Missy Ganon. A little scary that 1 down is 1 off the hot round.
Brian, normally you say Kristin has 6 strokes, she can just play safe, but this is the course more than any other course that we play all season where you can't play safe on 14 of the 18 holes. You have to throw through the gap. Whether you throw slow through the gap or you throw fast through the gap, you have to hit it. And if you don't, you're looking at a bogey. And if you don't scramble, you're looking at a double. So 6 strokes is safe for the best player in the field right now, but it's not a guaranteed amount of strokes.
Anybody can take the top spot after this round, and really, the top spot doesn't even matter. You're playing for that 8th place position, so there's going to be a lot of players with their phones out really early, I have a feeling, looking at you just making sure that they are beating these players. This is going to feel like match play at this point. The strategy and the conservative play is going to come from okay, I hit the fairway now. Do I need to try to stick the green, or do I want to play to a fat spot and pitch up and take a par, or even a single bogey if the scores match up for it? Playing safe or playing aggressive out here are not straightforward. It's very situational, and it all starts with hitting these gaps. I mean, this is where a player could go 5 under par or 5 over par. I mean, it just depends on how you're feeling on the individual day. Yesterday, we talked to Gannon Burr, who looked absolutely deflated, who felt like he threw the disc phenomenally well and did not get the landings that he wanted. You have to surrender a bit when you play this course, and today it's going to be a grab bag, and the players know that. So it's going to be a really exciting end to this first phase of the tournament. Someone feeling very safe right now is Missy Ganon, who did shoot the hot round of the day. She looked very solid out there on the course. She shot the 2 under par. Still took quite a few bogey strokes, but birdied quite a few holes as well. What do you make of that round?
Well, it was an amazing round. I mean, I think that I felt like Missy looked the best as far as like the lines that she was able to shape. Just on paper, she matches up great with this course. I mean, the Thrasher on Baby Annie that's going to drag off to the right a little bit, finishing flat. The Mantis flip-up shot that she has, the little turnover with that. And then the situational putting. Here she is on the downhill number 8. But the thing is, Brian, is there's a few different ways that these players can think about these rounds. I mean, they could think about it as I need to make it, or they can think about it as I need to dial in this course for the next 2 days. Like, they could already think, oh, I've got 6, I'm going to make it, and then just play with confidence today. Be like, I need to prep for the Great Reset, prep for the 2-round tournament for 40K that's coming up. I think that that's kind of the attitude that we're going to see. I don't think we're going to see Missy change up her game plan or dial back any of the shots. She's sending it through the gap because she wants to be prepared to take down Kristin and the rest of this field this weekend.
Well, you're right. I think it could be a simulation for what's to come Saturday and Sunday. So instead of, like you said, letting some strokes bleed on purpose just to feel safe, it might just be, hey, I'm playing for that top spot because I want to see if I can do it when it matters most on Saturday, Sunday. We did talk to Missy after her hot round. Let's take a listen to what she had to say.
I tried to make sure I thought as if it was a clean slate and just try to shoot the best that I can today and not think about the stroke advantage, because come the final 2 days, it's not going to be in existence. So as long as I can keep that mindset, I think it'll be good to just build off of that. I feel like the bogeys just kind of creep out of nowhere. You like, even if you advance up the fairway a bit, you might have just a weird tree in your way or stance problem, and just makes it a little uncomfortable out there. So scrambling is huge, but as long as you can minimize the mistakes and keep them to singles, you're still going to have to get the birdies, though. So, yeah.
Well, let's zoom in on that 2 under par. Satisfied with the number?
Yeah, pretty satisfied. Had a couple of late, couple of bogeys sprinkled out throughout the round, but was feeling really good about the birdies I was picking up. So, even surprised myself a little bit on some of those harder holes. But I feel good. Yeah.
Well, we talked to a lot of players during the press conference about this course, and they said, you know what, it scores really well for an FPO course. They are very satisfied to see how it's playing. I love seeing a scorecard like Missy's where there's quite a few birdies, but there's also some bogey strokes. But it's worse to see a 2 under par with 16 pars and 2 birdies. I'd rather see something with this type of color and this many birdies as well. So the course is clearly playing well. Players just need to clean up some mistakes. A player that I think can make the fewest mistakes of anyone in the field, who looked at one point like the best player on the course, was Ohn Scoggins. She looked fantastic out there, Nate, and she looked so comfortable throwing those forehands. She was obviously in pain, but at this point she's totally surrendered to it. She's working through it. She's taking the ibuprofen. She's getting massage. She's icing after her rounds. She's playing at the elite level still, and she's jamming putts, 100% from circle 1, 33% from circle 2. Do you think she's going to last 4 rounds out here?
Oh, she's a warrior. I mean, she's been in pain for 2 months now. She's an absolute warrior. In her 40s, I mean, she's an inspiration to any disc golfer, young or old. And yeah, Brian, the big question about Ohn we both had was there enough space on these tight fairways at Nevin for her to use the flex? And the answer was yes. I mean, she was able to dial down the extreme angle just a little bit. The thing about Ohn is she knows all she has to do is give herself a look. I mean, this is hands down the most confident putter I've ever seen. man or woman. She knows she's going to bury the putt. And when she doesn't, it's a total shock to her. We're talking 60 feet and in, and she was burying them yesterday. Oh, Brian Earhart with the dodge, my man.
Terrifying moment, but yes, like you said, the confidence from Ohn is incredible. And the desire to continue to work and keep the putt not just fresh, but above fresh, natural and unconscious, so to speak, is admirable. And I'm looking forward to seeing how she lasts over 4 rounds. I mean, they went through the gauntlet this year. They played so many 4-round tournaments in a row. They played Worlds, Maple Hill, U.S. Women's. They're here now. Throw Pink. I mean, come on. And she's still here competing at this level. Incredible stuff. We talked to Ohn after her round as well. Here it is. What expectations do you have when you play out here? Can you even have any with how wooded this course is?
My expectation, actually today even if I shot just even, I'll be happy. I was thinking about whatever you do, just shot even today. And -1 was like pretty stoked for me, because compared with my drive today was like, it can go more wrong than this, but yeah, like I said, the putting was like pretty awesome today. Upshot was like here and there, and then went OB like I think like 1 or 2 times, whatever, and hit the tree. That's normal. I thought I had my remote control will work today, but it's not. I mean, looking for tomorrow. I forced myself to putt more this weekend. I should not. But because I feel like it's so important. Come on, guys, it's 40K. I was like, normally when I playing, and I'm not putting. Last week I'm just kind of like chill, but this week I forced myself. Okay, practice and go putt. Yesterday I probably do like 50 or 60, and and it's hurt. It's hurt. Like the day before, 2 days before too. Like I said, after this one too, I have to like force myself to putt. I know it's not healthy for my arm, but I feel like I have to. This is too big. Then I could not think anything else. So I whatever I have to make my putting solid, I have to do it.
Always an inspiration to listen to Ohn talk. She is so committed to her dreams and goals and taking down this title. She has so much belief in herself. But another player we have to talk about, Holland Hanley, who, again, it's a common theme out here. This front 9 looked fantastic. Look at the back, Nate. Well, how do you clean up the back 9? Can you even make a conscious decision to do that?
Well, it was like a switch flipped with Holland. I mean, so much confidence, and then boom, she lost it on 12. And it was like she was struck with it and wasn't able to find it. She was just like questioning herself. That can't happen today, Brian. You can't question the confidence regardless if you get those bad tree kicks or you find yourself OB. We're going to wrap up Tournament Central, Brian. We got to get out there. It's a perfect day before the Great Reset. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to send you down to the broadcast. FPO is teeing off right now. Brian Earhart and Nate Perkins. We'll see you soon.
Feeling great starts with a great shave. Today, the world is in the palm of your hand. Or at least this can is. For over 100 years, Barbasol. It's a can of can-do.
Hello, we're Kenna. We're a Dutch growing company. We love plants, and we want to tell you some cool things about them. Just like humans, plants can communicate. They can sense when another plant is close. Plants look out for each other too. They warn neighbors about nearby threats by secreting substances. And studies have shown that plants love a good tune. We love and understand plants. Let our passion excite you too.
Repetitive stress injuries are one of the most common reasons that disc golfers have to take time off from playing the sport they love. With the average disc golf bag weighing up to 25 pounds, this can add up to over 2,000 pounds of accumulated stress on your body during a single round. A cart gives you the ability to bring what you need on the course without the repetitive heavy lifting. This reduces the number of stress points you experience during a round, keeping you at your best.